Good morning, children. Sairam. Welcome back to our science class. So, today we are going to go to some, we are going to go to a mysterious and fascinating world today. Where are we going to go? We are going to go to the mysterious and the fascinating world. So, can you guess where are we going to land? Where are we going to go? So by seeing the slide, you can make out. Yes, we are going to go to the space. We are going to go to the space. So shall we start? Yes. Now before we go to the space, can you tell me the things we can see in the sky during the daytime? So I want to list out the things that you can see in the daytime. As you can see, the birds, clouds, rockets, sun, rainbow, raindrops, right? So these are the things we see in the sky during the daytime. Okay, now what can you see in the night time? Stars, twinkling stars, moons, clouds, right? So these are the things we see during the night time. So children, we have seen the twinkling stars on a clear night, and you can see innumerable twinkling stars. Innumerable means many twinkling stars, countless it is. So have you ever looked carefully? Some of the stars will not, some of the things will not shine in the sky. Any object that looks like a star and but it does not twinkle. Yes, there are many secrets in the space. So do you know what such objects are called as? Yes, so today we are going to learn all about that objects which we cannot see with our eyes in the space, and all about the secret objects in the space in the lesson the earth and the solar system. So today we'll be starting with part 1. Okay, now these common things that we see in the sky are clouds, raindrops, sun, moon, stars, airplanes, kites, and birds. The moon and the stars are in the sky during the day, but we cannot usually see them because during the day the sky brightens the sky. And there are also innumerable objects that we cannot see with our eyes. So we are going to learn all the things in part 1 in the lesson number 12, the earth and the solar system. Okay, now before we start, let us understand what is space. What is space? So anybody knows what is space? If I say space, what can you imagine? What can you remember? Yes, we remember about the astronauts who stepped into the space, right? And weightlessness. So after we go into the space, we feel weightlessness, nothingness, stars, astronauts, rockets, satellites, and a complete silence. There's no noise in the space. So all these things that comes in our mind when we hear the word space. Okay, weightlessness, nothingness, stars, planets, satellites, astronauts, and silence. So these are the words we remember when we hear the word space. Okay, do you know what is space? So all these things we remembered, but what is space? You know, space has many secrets. If a human tries to go to the space, you know what will happen? They will be boiled, or they'll be frozen. They become a hard ice, they'll be frozen, or they can be changed into any other shape if you go to the space without the protecting clothes. That is why astronauts wear the protecting clothes when they go to the space. Okay, otherwise we'll get boiled or frozen or change it into any shape. It is very dangerous. So children, welcome to the mysterious and the endlessly fascinating world that we are going to learn today. So let's begin. Okay, now have you seen the night sky and the daytime, how the sky looks? Yes, which time you like? Night time is very beautiful, right? So the stars are twinkling. The night sky is very, very beautiful, that it is so different, from the daytime. So the stars and the other heavenly bodies are not seen in the daytime because of the bright light of the sun. So all these moon, stars, everything remains there only, but we cannot see in the daytime because of the bright light of the sun. Okay. uh, as a children, some children must be having the ambition that you wanted to become, you wanted to go to the space and do the research, you wanted to go to the NASA, so you want to learn about the sun, moon and other objects that can be seen, that is not seen in the space. So are you all interested in that? So if you are interested in that, you have to study the astronomical science. You have to study the astronomical science. So this astronomy, it is a science that studies the universe with all its celestial bodies and related phenomena. Okay. So if you want to learn all about the stars, sun, moon, satellites, planets, you have to study the astronomical science. Now, these scientists, they study the astronomy. They are called as astronomers. They are called as astronomers. So they use telescope. They don't go directly to the space and study about the things. They use the telescope and the modern equipments So this is the telescope. So from this hole, so they can view the sky to study and understand the universe better. Okay, so they are called as astronomers. So this is the telescope and he is a scientist. So if you also want to become, so you should also become a scientist, astronomer. Okay. Now, do you know where does the space begin? So we know that space is in the sky. Do you know from where it begins? So Earth, we live on Earth. So it is covered with a thin layer of gases. That is called the atmosphere. So outside this atmosphere, where there is no air and there is no air to breathe, or to allow the wings to fly, or where nobody can hear you scream. So that place is called the space. So our atmosphere does not end immediately or suddenly. It gradually fades away. So when you fly higher and higher and higher, when you fly higher and higher and higher, when you go higher and higher and higher, gradually it fades, our atmosphere fades, and gradually that becomes a space, and gradually that becomes a space. So understood what is space and where does the space begin? Okay, now let's move on to the stars and the sun. So the stars and the sun. What is a star? So we know that stars are in the sky and we can see in the night time, and they are twinkling and they are so beautiful. So star is a huge ball. Star is a huge ball of hot glowing gases. It is nothing but a huge ball of hot glowing gases. So stars are twinkling, luminous heavenly bodies. Twinkling, luminous heavenly bodies. They give out light and heat on their own. So there are millions of stars present in the sky, but very far away from the earth. But they are very far away from the earth. So that is the reason they seem like the tiny speck of light in the night sky. So in the night sky, if you see the stars, they just look a tiny dot, tiny speck, that is dot of light in the night sky. So the nearest star we know, do you know which is the nearest star that we see every day? Yes, it is the sun. The sun is the nearest star that we see every day. Okay, so billions of stars together form a galaxy. Billions of stars together form a. So there are billions and billions of stars. So they together they form a galaxy. So this is the nearest star that we see every day, the sun. Okay. Now this is called the galaxy. This is called the galaxy. So there are billions of stars together and they form the galaxy. So our solar system. So this is our solar system. We have planets there. So it is a part of a Milky Way of galaxy. It is a part of a Milky Way of galaxy. Now these stars, so it gives us, as I said, it gives out heat and light. So the sun is also a star that we see every day, and it is the nearest star to us. So the sun is the nearest star to us. That is why it appears so big compared to the other stars. So all stars other than the sun, it appears as twinkling spots of light in the night sky. So they cannot be seen during the day because of the light of the sun. And without the sun's light, without the sun's heat and light, the earth would be very cold. The earth would be very cold. So there would be no life on earth. So there would be no life on earth. So this sun, it is a massive ball of burning gas. The sun is a massive ball. Massive means it's very huge ball like a burning gas. Okay. So without it, our planet would be lifeless. So do you know where do we get from this solar wind? So our sun only sends this solar wind. The sun sends out a stream of invisible particles called the solar winds. So do you know how much time do we take to get the sunlight? So it takes the sun's heat. it takes only 8 minutes to reach the earth. So how much far is the sun? So it just takes 8 minutes. The sun's heat will reach the earth. So it is so hot. It is very, the sun is a very hot ball. So it is our sun is a star. Okay, now this solar system. So if you want to understand the power of the sun's heat, so if you want to understand the power of the sun's heat, so in your science textbook, page number 93, so there is a activity. Okay, so you will take a paper and the magnifying glass, and you will go to your terrace and where you will get enough sunlight. So using a magnifying glass, you're going to focus the sun rays on a sheet of paper. So you will keep the sheet of paper. So you will go to the sun terrace where the sunlight is there, and you see the magnifying glass and you just look at the paper. Okay, then what happens? The paper starts burning because you never focus the sun rays. You never focus the sun rays. The skin can get burned. The skin can get burned. So the sun rays will heat the paper and it will start burning. So you can try this activity at home. So you can refer the page number 93 in your textbook. Okay, so you can understand the power of the sun. Now the next one is we'll be learning about the solar system and the planets. So what are planets? Planets are non-luminous heavenly bodies which revolve around the star, these some small non-luminous heavenly bodies, they are known as satellites which revolves around the planet. So these satellites are also known as moons. Here I'll show you. Yes, you can see here. So in the center there is a sun. In the center you can see the sun. So all the planets are rotating, and you can see here around the planets some moons, some satellites are rotating here. So you can see here some small balls around that it is rotating. Yes, you can observe here also some small dots, they are rotating. So they revolve around the planets. So some satellites, they revolve around the planets, and these satellites, they are known as moons. So there is a planet and small balls are rotating around the planets, and the planets also revolve around the sun, and the planets also revolve around the sun. And where is the sun? It is in the center, and around that planets are revolving, and around the planets also some of the satellites are revolving, which is known as moons. So the moon is the natural satellite of our planet Earth. The moon is the natural satellite of our planet Earth. So planets and their satellites are visible because of the reflection of the sun's light that falls on them. And we have 8 planets which revolves around the sun in a fixed path, which is called the orbits. So have you ever wondered why planets move in their fixed orbits? They do not go here and they just move in a fixed orbits. So this is due to the gravitational pull of the sun, which holds the planets in their orbits. Now, so children, so we'll be continuing about the solar system. We'll learn more about the solar system in the next video. Now let's do some activity here. before that, I want to give a small information about the stars. The stars which we see in the sun, in the sky, sometimes we see a group of stars in the sky. Sometimes we see a group of stars in the sky. It is like this, the group of stars which are twinkling here. And so these group of stars, they are called as constellation. They are called as constellation. So a constellation means it is a group of stars that form a pattern in the sky. So it is looking like some pattern. See, it is one pattern, it is another pattern, some pattern. It is looking like a patterns in the sky. So the constellation have these constellation, they are called as constellations. They are used for navigation. All these you will study in the higher classes. So a group of stars are called as constellation. Now let's move on to the activity. So what we learned today? So take the correct answer. So which of the following is a star? Sun, Moon, Venus, Earth. So which is the star here? So the sun is the star. Okay. The sun is in the dash of the solar system. So where is the sun? Now we have some filling the blanks here. We are just going to discuss the answer, and after the end of this video you will take your rough book and copy this activity in your rough book. So the first answer is, the first question is, which of the following is a star? Sun, Moon, Venus, Earth. So the answer is sun. Okay. Now the second question is, the sun is in the dash of the solar system. So where is the sun? It is in the center. The earth receives light from the, so from where do we receive the light? The earth receives light from the sun. The earth receives light from the sun. So the answer is sun here. And number 4, the dash is the closest star to the earth. So which is the closest star? Again, the sun is the closest star to the earth. And all dash appear as tiny points of light in the night sky. So which looks like tiny specks or tiny dots? Stars. So the answer is stars, number 5. So here we'll end this lesson, today's session, and we'll be continuing, and in the next video we are going to learn about this fascinating solar system. We are going to learn all about the solar system. So until then, bye bye children.